Welcome into NFL Daily. I am Tom Downey with the NFL trade deadline roughly a week and a half away. We're doing some liberties with the half part, depending on how you math. Let's go to Shaq Thompson now. The Panthers are selling, at least interested in potentially selling. A lot of qualifiers there, I know. Shaq Thompson, the Sports Illustrated report is that they are open to moving Shaq Thompson in a potential deal. He's super cheap for 1 year. The contract balloons next year, like kind of all of the Panthers' assets. There's a lot of wear and tear on Thompson. Played a lot of snaps over the years, getting a little bit older. But there is still some value, namely as a run-stopping and athletic run-stopping linebacker there. This is the type of guy they should have interest in trading. 2 more years, including this one, left on his deal. The rental value is probably higher than high contract value next year. Good player to keep an eye out for being dealt in Carolina. Now, the Panthers have already dealt Robbie Anderson. How many more players will they end up trading? I do not anticipate a full fire sale. But let me know in the comments section. Drop that number right now. Let's go to the big trade rumor buzz storyline. I want my team to acquire this player. That's Elijah Moore now. He missed practice Thursday, and we'll see about Friday and whatnot, with a personal day. Now, NFL Network reports that Moore has requested a trade from the Jets, and the Jets told him, no, you're not being traded. Now, to kind of rewind what happened the past 24-ish hours here, Moore was not at practice. Head coach Robert Saleh says, personal day, family issue. And then they backtracked and said, well, he was with his family, and let's break it down with first what ESPN reported an hour or so before Ian Rapoport, which we'll get to, broke the news. Coach Robert Saleh, in brief comments to reporters on the field, said Moore took a personal day because of a family issue. A source said Moore's absence was more football-related, with another source saying Moore has expressed unhappiness to members of the organization. Ian Rapoport on Thursday reported this. Jets wide receiver Elijah Moore, frustrated with his role and usage, has asked for a trade. The team has no plans at all to trade him. The former second-rounder was targeted once in the win over the Packers, but the play was negated by a penalty. Now, we'll talk about more and more in depth here. That kind of works, I guess. Will the Jets trade him? Y for yes, N for no. It's the pinned comment on today's video. Drop your predictions for me at the pinned comment, especially if the ad break comes here on YouTube. In the end, much like the whole Denzel Mims situation's gone on over a year now, I would be surprised if the Jets traded away Elijah Moore. He's good, he's young, he's cheap, he was a premium draft pick not even a year and a half ago by this organization. Now, his numbers are down this year. He's not being heavily utilized, not being heavily involved. I know he's frustrated by that usage. The Jets have also not thrown it much the past couple games, and they've got really good receivers on this roster. Corey Davis, Garrett Wilson, Elijah Moore, Braxton Berrios. Maybe Denzel Mims gets some run this week, because I would bet that Elijah Moore ends up being inactive. I think he's got to get his head on straight here a little bit. I get he wants more playing time, more targets, all that stuff. But his football team is also on a 3-game winning streak, the first they've had in literally years for this organization. It is, in the end, a selfish move by Elijah Moore, which could drive down his value. I bet the Jets would want a second-round pick or bust for him. There might be a team who's pretty good since he was a high second-round pick just a few years ago. I like the player. I understand his frustrations. I also know why the Jets would not want to trade him. That's not Joe Douglas's MO, as we've seen with Denzel Mims. They'll listen to offers, but they got to be really good offers if they're going to shop Denzel Mims. Now, today's show is helped out by our sportsbook partner, BetUS. Head over to chatsports.com/bet and use promo code NFLDaily. 125% deposit bonus when you put down at least $100. They've got all kinds of in-game bets, bet on every game, and prop bets, too. Speaking of trades and Denzel Mims, here are some odds for you guys. The Packers wide receiver trade odds. Will they trade for one of these receivers? Chase Claypool plus 150. A lot of rumors around him. We mentioned Denzel Mims plus 300. Kenny Golladay 350. Patriots receivers Nelson Aguilar and Kendrick Bourne. Bourne's decent value, by the way. A big difference there between Aguilar. And there's DJ Moore, the guy everyone wants, plus 250. Cam Akers, he wants out of the Rams. They're shopping him. Denver is your betting favorite there. The Bills follow behind them. Tennessee's interesting since, King Henry. The Patriots, honestly, Jack, that does not make sense to me. Damian Harris is healthier now. They have backfield depth. Arizona, actually decent value, but it's an in-division trade, plus 140. Bet on those odds every game this week. College football, NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL. They got you covered. Promo code NFL Daily over at chatsports.com/bet. Let's move to our tight end conversation of today's show. Albert Okwuegbunam, a.k.a. Albert O for easiness there, is, I think, very much available. More reports coming out, multiple different outlets. ESPN, Pro Football Network have mentioned that there seems to be some interest from outside teams. I think Denver maybe is leaking this too because he's not playing, right? He didn't play in Week 6. Has played 16 snaps the past 3 weeks combined after not dipping below 24 in Week 3. Straight line athlete, speedy player, but it's never been that productive from that standpoint. 11 targets, 7 receptions, 50 yards. It just simply hasn't been utilized this year by the Denver Broncos. So Albert O could very well be dealt. That is a realistic and affordable name if you want tight end help in the NFL. Now, on the non-affordable side, there's Mike Gesicki. The Dolphins are reportedly listening to trade offers, despite the claims of, he's going to be traded. That's no guarantee from that standpoint there because of the salary. The contract's a big problem there. Gesicki has a $10.93 million base salary this year. Now, the reality is it's not actually that is owed by the new team. You got to take the 10.93, divide it by 17, and then multiply by how many games he would play for the new team. So it's roughly half. If you want to do the quick math, we'll call it $5.5 million the rest of the year. Still a bit pricey from that standpoint. Gesicki is not a blocker, and is not a fit in that Mike McDaniel offense. He is a move tight end, the athletic, almost big slot receiver type of tight end from that standpoint, which does make things pretty tricky from a balancing perspective for the Dolphins offense. And they do at least have some depth at the tight end position. Durham Smythe, Hunter Long, I think Tanner Connor has also kind of played that slightly more athletic tight end role, but I wouldn't mind seeing more Hunter Long in Miami. It's a matter of, are the Dolphins going to eat some money? If so, is there an offer good enough to have them move at minimum, a very good red zone threat? So which tight end would you rather trade for if you're a tight end needy team out there? AO for Albert Okwuegbunam, or Albert O. MG for Mike Gesicki. Let me know in the comments. We'll wrap up with some Las Vegas Raiders conversation here. Clelin Ferrell, according to ESPN, is very much available. Of course he is. I think the Raiders would love to find a trade taker for Clelin Ferrell. $4.77 million base salary plus double that, or not double that, more than that due already with a signing bonus. Got like a $9 million cap hit this year. The Raiders saved no money with a cut, because that base salary is, you guessed it, for a top 5 pick, fully guaranteed. And he's done nothing in his NFL career. 12 tackles for loss, 8 sacks. He has not been productive. He's almost at the, I get a quarterback hit every other game standpoint. You can't have that at your top 5 pick. There are edge rusher needy teams across the NFL. There might be some interest, but the salary has been the sticking point, and it might continue to be through the trade deadline. But the Raiders could be sellers. And another former first-round pick could also be on, not Josh Jacobs, sorry, folks. Johnathan Abram, according to ESPN, and again, this might be the old, we leak it to get more interest in our players. Raiders have had trade talks about Abram in recent months with other NFL teams, and there could be some value for a hard-hitting safety. Here's the problem. He hasn't been good in his NFL career. Specifically PFF, who really values no missed tackles and being good in coverage. That's not Abram's game. He will lay the lumber. He'll also miss too many tackles. He's missed, I think, 6 or 7 so far this year. That's a lot per game for a not full-time starting safety. Can blitz a little bit, but he's not good in coverage. He can't play deep safety. He's kind of a box-only player, and that guy is being phased out of the NFL more and more. Hard hitter, but injury-prone, missed tackles, coverage woes. It's a specific role he fills, but between Abram and Ferrell, I think there will be more interest in Abram as we get closer and closer to the NFL trade deadline.